Okay, hey guys, so I'm Christina. This is my neighbors who have actually become my friends, and I want to introduce them to you guys. This is Ari. She's a stylist. All of our kids are the same age, and just a really down-to-earth person. I think you guys are really going to enjoy her. And this is Alasia, who you guys have seen before. She's done Girl Gang. She's a nurse. She plans parties. She does a lot. So we wanted to come together to kind of just facilitate an environment that felt like what we really just did. So we randomly got together. We had lattes and we just flowed. And we thought this conversation was so good, we should probably let you guys in on it, because low key we dropped some gems and didn't even realize what it could be. So I just wanted to feel good, natural, and I wanted to kind of start with asking you guys a question that I, let me just take a sip first, because oh my God, this is a big question. Hold on. Uh-oh. So I wanted to ask you guys, I've been thinking about this literally all week and actually kind of struggling with this all week. What does, like for you guys, what does fighting for your life mean? Mm-hmm. And I don't mean it in like an insensitive way to like those who are like not well, you know what I mean? Right. It's just more so like, It's something I wanted to ask myself without feeling guilty about it, or without feeling like I meant like if you weren't well, like health wise. Mm-hmm. It's a lot to think about. So I just sat with it for a week. Mm-hmm. And for me, I feel like fighting for my life now, and this, I don't even see it. Okay, this is the thing. In therapy, like my therapist doesn't let me like package things anymore. I had a tendency to do that. Like I'll just make sure it sounds really nice before I say it to you, you know, versus just saying what it really is. Right. And to me, if I didn't package this and I was just really raw, right now fighting for my life personally means like at all costs. Like whoever has to be sacrificed, like whatever has to happen, like I'm not willing, like I feel like there's this radical, more of a feeling, maybe more than even words, like where I have to still balance having my life too, you know, outside of, you know, working or being a mom or being a wife or, you know, being a daughter. It's like what really is important to me. And it starts to feel like mandated, like I can't not do this. And it was more of a feeling though, like nobody was telling me like, girl, you gotta be doing this. You know, I'm actually doing too much. Right. But it's like something inside of me just started to feel like, from looking at my family, looking at the way I grew up and friends and a lot of like amazing women who sacrificed so much, but like really had to kind of let go of the things they wanted to do in order for everyone else to be good. Right. I don't know if it's worth it to me. Like I think it's great. Like it's a service, right? You know what I mean? Like, and it's wonderful. You can serve, you can, you know, raise this family, and all of these things are very important. But it's like, if you years from now look back and you feel like, I wish I could have done that differently, when obviously you still have time, but it started to just make me feel, I guess, more of like a feeling of fighting for my life meant like taking care of the things that were important to me, you know, before I signed up for everything else that I signed up for. Right. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think?
For me, fighting for my life is really thinking about being intentional, thinking about what do I like to do? Because with being a mom, being a wife, working a 9-to-5, trying to have other businesses and do different things, sometimes you can just get lost in that. Yeah. And you get lost in the needs, the demands, and the wants of other people. And I know this for me, I feel like that probably by like Wednesday, Thursday, I start feeling like, okay, I gotta get out of this house.
Overwhelmed.
Like, I'm done with this. Excuse my language, but F it all. Like,
no, seriously.
But then pick all the papers back up because I actually need this work. I actually need to be a good wife. I need my husband. Right. My kids need me. Right. So for me, fighting for my life is just being like super intentional, and I haven't been fighting for my life. So now that I know I have to fight for my life, I have to fight for what's going to keep me going without all of these other things, important things, but still other things. I'm like learning it. It's a new thing. It's like taking baby steps. So I think it's so important for women to understand that you could still be a good wife, you could still be a great mom, you could still be great at whatever you do, but you also have to be great for yourself too. And you can't do that when you're constantly filling everyone else's cup. Be dedicated back. Eventually, you're just going to end up with this empty cup. And you're going to be drained, irritated, and everybody going to be looking at you like, what's wrong with you?
Why aren't you happy?
Why aren't you happy? You
this
have
is what
all
you
of this.
wanted.
You have a house. You have, you know, and depressed, be anxious. You know, it's just so much. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's an amazing thing that we as women need to recognize.
Yeah, and I love that you said that too, because it's to get the anxiety, to get the depression, to go through the lows of it. For me, I just feel like lows of it where I literally can just be like checked out. I'm like, Lord Jesus, this laundry, this everything, this responsibility, you know? This responsibility, this is what you are responsible for. There's no like time out, there's no pause, there's no like it's just, but what I have found, like, this is one thing I have found in fighting for my life, and then also giving boundaries for like the kids. And I mean, some people may judge this, and I don't care. Like after 9 o'clock, I'm really done. Like unless you're bleeding, don't come bother me. Like don't even call my name anymore. And for me, it's like my self-preservation. And some people are like, you know, more, you know, what do you need? And I'm not. Like I feel like I've served you. I've done my job. And now I'm a person and I have to go take care of myself. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like giving them some boundaries too. And I say it to them like that. Not like, oh, I don't feel like being bothered. I say, oh, you know, I don't mind if you have something to say. Like, I don't mind if you have something to say. You can tell me anything, but it needs to be before 9 o'clock because my mental health matters.
Right.
And if I don't have that time to myself, I won't be good for you all. No. And I don't remember anyone saying that to me as a kid. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like, I didn't know that it mattered. And I say it to Victoria because it's like I'm saying a lot of what sounds like weaknesses, but I'm hoping she hears it some kind of way as strengths, because I'm like, in 10 minutes, you'll be me. Like, judge me all you want to now, you know. Sometimes I'm flying off at the handle. Sometimes I'm all together, super organized. Some days, this morning, I took everybody to daycare. I had everything in my hands. I was rushing. I was trying to make it on time. And the dog's food was spilling. I said, Julie, help me out. Hold the leash for 1 second. I said, hold it for 1 second. I'm going to lock the door. Who's home? Your phone?
That's right.
Get it. Right? We can edit it. We can edit it. Who cares? This is not live. I think it make it more real anyway. But no, so they're all standing out there, girl. And I'm like, here, hold it for 1 second, girl. I was like, we're right there, almost to the car. Girl, I turned around for 1 second. She took the dog, laid out in the yard, started making snow angels. The dog runs away, takes her hat off her head, and is running through the snow. She's chasing him. I'm chasing both of them, and almost fell. Turn around, I was like, what you doing? I'm like, I can't even explain to you like what my life is right now. Okay. In all seriousness, I feel like that's something I love that you said also too, just to talk about the fact that depression, anxiety, and things of that nature, those lows are tough. They're tough for me, at least. I have to schedule myself like a good cry.
Absolutely.
Okay, girl, you know what? Okay, you understand. I'm like, if I don't cry and get it out, it makes me like just more angry. So I don't want to be angry. So it's like I have to like cry, get it out, and then like I feel better after I let it out, and then take some time to myself and come back better.
Yeah, I can understand that. I feel like for me, it's more like being selfish. And also setting boundaries, because you can get too into, oh, I have to make sure this is done for the kids. Oh, I have to make sure this is done for your spouse. And it's like you don't make sure yourself is together, or whatever you need is there. And so it's all about being selfish in a sense, because I don't do self-care for myself. I don't schedule that. And like you say, mentally, I don't have it all together. I'm struggling on a daily. It's like, and then I need that cry. I need that moment to myself to release all of that I've been holding inside, and then I can deal with everybody else once I get past that.
Let's go.
You know,
but I say selfish. I'm sorry. Yeah. I say selfish because they always need you. They always need you, and
you
always put what you know. You like, okay, I'm gonna put this to the side. I'm gonna get to it in a minute. They always need you, so that's why I say selfish, because it's like, I'll take care of you in a moment. Right now, it's about me.
Right.
So that's why I say selfish.
And I agree with you, because I used to struggle. So for me, it looked when I was not setting boundaries with them, and I was not preserving a part of myself to be whole. I know it's kind of like deep, but when I don't set boundaries, and I'm just like every time, mom, babe, if I'm constantly just answering to phone calls, answering to this, getting a phone call about this, then eventually, like I said, you're gonna be spent. And so like I used to feel bad, because my daughter would be like, oh, come play Barbies with me, with me, and I'll be like so irritated, like, do you not see me? Like, I'm washing the counters, I just left the computer, and then you hear these moms and other people talk about, oh, just leave it. Sometimes you just gotta, give that time to your kid, and you have to stop thinking about yourself, and just, but then at the same time, it's like when you have a life, especially recently, it's just been difficult, even with the pandemic, all of that stuff has affected so many people in so many different ways. I'm affected by it. Just on this constant from one task to the next task, to the next task, to the next task. And I think that it's okay to set boundaries and say, you know what? I'm going to schedule a time to play Barbies with you. Yeah. We're going to play Barbies for 30 minutes. Yeah. Because at first I used to just deal with it as it would come. Yeah. Like not getting ahead of it. Right? Not to say that you have to control every aspect, but sometimes when you wear so many hats, you do have to be a good manager of that, and you do have to still manage certain moments. A lot of things can be managed. And I think like when I decided like I'm gonna take control over, I'm the mom. We are gonna play Barbies, and you're never gonna forget this Barbie scene.
No,
because
real.
I love Barbies, and we're gonna have fun with it.
Yeah,
and we're gonna record it. It's gonna be like our little TV show. Yeah. And I'm gonna give you 15 to 20 minutes, and this is what we're gonna do. Yeah. And her response totally changed. She wasn't constantly, "Mommy, you never play with me, Mom." Instead she'll be like, "Do you think we could play Barbies and record it when you have time?" And she's content. She doesn't feel like she's missing anything, and I don't feel guilty because I said I don't feel like playing Barbies with you. Yeah. And it goes with other things too. With husbands, it's different, but I'm fighting for my life. Yes. So with that being said, like you do have to, like boundaries is so important.
Yeah, no, that sometimes you just have to save yourself.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah,
and I told you guys, like you guys saw I have a dog. Okay, most people who know me know I'm not a dog person, and I'm learning to become one, and it was really hard for me. Like, ask my friends up close. Your girl was derailing. I just wasn't used to the poop. I wasn't used to the maintenance, the newbornness. So as I was spiraling, my husband was like, maybe you should step away, and come back. I'm like, yeah, I need to, because I really felt like I had just hit a wall. And when I say it was really just one day of basically whatever I wanted to do for myself, but that one day refreshed everything that, like, from that one day, every day since, even on my worst days that I'm up and down with like learning to adjust to a dog, I feel better than I did before I did that one day. It's almost like the one day gave me so much gas.
Yeah. And
it wasn't even just a day of, I literally hardly talked to anyone for the most part. I was to myself. I just did dinner. I, did a little bit of self-care. I sat and talked with God. I sat in the car and cried. I don't know what it was like. It was like the most intimate time for just me. And I was just sharing with you guys, like, the journaling, like, I didn't realize how important the journaling was, like, because it's actually not just therapy, like, okay, yeah, you got your feelings out, but you also now have like a tangible goal, you know what I'm saying, that you have written down. It's also biblical. Write the vision down, make it plain. So once you've gotten that thing out of you, now it has to begin to manifest, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like it got the ball rolling, and it gave me like just a different level of intimacy with myself. I didn't even know that I was lacking intimacy with myself because a spa is an hour. Like that's not, it is good as self-care, but intimacy with self felt like, who am I? Why did he create me? You know, this is where I fit, which is often not in most rooms. That's okay. That's actually hard, but that's actually okay. You know, and it's like all these things I started to like really think about and ask myself. And I was like, man, I never make time to do this. I just don't have time. Someone's always calling me, or you know what I mean? Like you just
get
don't.
Mom guilt. I get mom guilt.
That mom guilt is something else.
Mom guilt is a thief of joy.
It is.
Ooh. Yes.
It takes the joy out of the vacation before you get on the plane.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Well, used to. I stopped there. I'm like, ain't no way.
Well, give us some tips on how you stop that.
I said, because, it's too much.
In the vision.
Yeah, no, let her in. So I just feel like that mom guilt is like literally meant to just steal your joy. So ways that I found of dealing with it is, if I don't do this for myself, I'm not going to be the best mom for them.
Yeah.
The best mom is the mom who's whole. The best mom is not ran down on the ground. She's screaming, she's hollering, but she's there. In what way? In what capacities?
But we should talk about that, because being moms and coming from moms who were, I mean, I can speak for myself that my mother, my grandmother, nobody talked to us about self-care.
No.
I mean, that's just like not even a part. I don't even think that was ever a conversation about self-care, do stuff for yourself, even about the things that you go through as a woman day to day. That was never discussed. So you do feel like on an island sometimes. I do. Sometimes I be really going through it. Like I be struggling.
No, I was in the laundry room on the floor crying, trying to open the door. I was like, I think it's all too much. And I'm ready to just not do it. Take the dog back. Then plus this, it was too much. Girl, he was looking like, what is going on? I'm like, child, I'm going to Target. Put some worship on, see if the Lord will meet me there. I was struggling. But now it's better. But I had to get that out. So when you say you're struggling, like, that's why I don't want to take away from that moment. But I just want to be like raw, like how up and down it could go in here, you know? And everyone else looks at you like glamorizing. And that's why part of the reason why I wanted to do this, because I get a lot of feedback. Oh, you make things look so perfect. You make it look so easy. Some things I would say, God graced me to do that. So yeah, it does look easy. Some things I would say, no, I actually work really hard, and I should open up conversations like this with women like you guys, because it's like, it does look good if you see us out, you know? But this is what it takes on the inside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so don't just go into it, because then you see, like, I don't want women to go with this false sense of like what marriage is and be like, oh, this is so great, I'm gonna have a husband, I'm gonna have kids, and all of those things are beautiful, but it does come with a cost. It really does. You have to have work. Like, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work every single day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And they didn't tell us that.
No one told me.
Every day.
Why didn't no one tell us? Is it too much to tell?
It is. Is it too much to tell?
Because you might almost run someone, because it's almost like I would think that you were, if you told me the real truth. Me, all three of us, let's not even say what the real truth is. Like, we just know because we are.
Right.
Okay. You know what the real truth is. So if someone would have sat you down and told you all this, I would have, me, honestly, I would think you were like just hating, like the nitty gritty parts of it, the work that it takes, the dying of self. Oh my God. Like, you literally have to die to yourself daily in order to be married to someone, or it really doesn't work. It's a constant compromise and repositioning. Constant growth and catching up. No two people grow at the same time, but you both have to keep catching up. I'm growing here, okay? I gotta adjust here.
You have to have grace on that other person too. Yeah. But you know, you have to. Yes, it's like leaning and gleaning, and repositioning.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. People just don't tell you.
And they don't tell, another thing that they don't tell you.
We're out here now. We're out here.
Another thing they don't tell you is that how you have to take the back seat. And sometimes you just have to be quiet.
Okay, well, help me unpack it.
Sometimes you have to let them go first.
You do.
And I feel like especially now with this climate of our, and I'm not going to get off until, I'm not going to take a left on exit 1B right now. I'm just going to keep straight on truth identified.
Right. Yeah.
But you do have to learn how to, as a wife too, have to have judgment, good judgment, and wisdom.
Yeah.
To allow them to go first.
Yeah. You know what I found too? Because sometimes I'm like, and one thing I had talked about this in Bible study, and this is like, I don't have a jealous personality. Like, you know, Kim, I could be crazy and stuff, you know, like, don't play with me when it comes to girls and nothing like that. You know, I ain't doing that. But I'm not like jealous nature, like as a person. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I told some of the girls the Bible study, and I'm like, dang, Lord, because I've seen him grow, like tremendous growth with his work, like from where we started to where it's gone and to where the Lord has taken him. And I'm like, Lord, woo, you really got him in like, you know, excellent spaces and very qualified rooms, even when he was underqualified. And I was like, Lord, that's so amazing. And I was like, you know, the way I talked to God, I said, well, you said a man who finds a wife finds a good thing and shall obtain favor for the rest of his life. I was like, so he's walking in favor. Where am I? And I was like wondering, and I was just like wondering, but not in a hater way, just like so I was like, Lord, do you want me to go? I was like, because I feel like you've been having me in like the study room or the practice facility for a very long time, and I'm like, I actually would like to launch myself, like my gifts, my talents, and things that I want to do as well. I've stewarded the home. I've shown you I can do it, you know, as far, because before I used to not be able to do like everything all at once. Now I've learned how to maintain a home. I can work. I can make sure I keep you know, I can balance now. So I'm like, what am I missing in the wait? Because I do feel like I'm in a period of wait. And he showed me, he kind of showed me like just a quick vision, and it was like something in a cocoon, and it was like you're being perfected, like you're being perfected. I'm working on you, but when you launch, I'm preparing you for that, and I'm preparing him for that too, because it's going to be something I do with you both together. So I think there's some grace in that weight of it had to go like that, and now we can both build. You know what I mean? Because I have some footing, because I felt like for a long time I needed to become, and he was giving me some room to become, but I felt like I wasn't really becoming. I was just there. I was just doing the routine. I'm like, am I really effective? And you know, and as of maybe when we moved it, like last year, I started to be more proactive in trying to become. How has that been for you? Like trying to become, not like you ever arrived, because I don't believe that you ever like, oh, I made it. You know what I mean? But just putting that effort in for you.
For me, like, that's a part of me fighting for my life, I would say. That goes into fighting for my life. I had to, first of all, understand that sometimes you do have to just give it some time and let it marinate. And sometimes you have to, and then you have to give it to God, and you have to also say, like, you know what, I'm still going to do it, but asking for guidance on how to do it so that it's not disrupting, it's going to disrupt, gracefully, like, leaning toward that. And being patient with the process. And I just realized that in moments where I've said something and waited, and said something and waited without responding with the, you don't ever want me to do this, or I supported you, like I used to do that, and then I learned, like, just say it and let it sit. And just like a good pause is like a thing that speakers do to make you feel what they're trying to say, like really get the full impact, make you think. It's the same way that I address things now. But that's being a wise woman. And you know, I can act on like, well, I supported you and I was here for you. And remember when this and remember that, and then he'll come up, because I did that before.
Of course.
And he'll come up with his, well, you I supported you when you did this, or I don't like how you, and then it's a back and forth. The thing is, for me, what I'm not asking you for is permission. I just want you to get on board. So that's my goal.
They feel that energy.
And they feel it, but again, I think that's why God allows them to go first, because because they need that. Women, we're strong enough to say, okay, yeah, you could go first. We don't have to jump and cut the line.
I remember when I first got married, my mom always tell me, like, one thing in your marriage that you never want to do is like compete with each other. And I thought that was so odd. I thought that was such an odd piece of advice at first.
That's the best advice.
But now I totally get it, because it's so easy to do if if you weren't like, you know, like trying to do it on purpose, it just happened. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I thought that looking back on it, that actually was a great piece of wisdom. That's why I'm like, okay, you go first. I believe God wants us to live fabulous, so be fabulous.
The evidence is always, they never in the beginning.
What do you mean?
They never see what you're fighting for in the beginning. They don't see it until it comes out, and then they're like, I'm so glad you didn't listen to me. I'm so glad that you didn't let me stop you.
And that's, I'm not saying this is like our husbands or whatever, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Or what if it's the exact opposite, that they always saw exactly who you could become? Because sometimes I, with older eyes, looking back on myself as a younger woman, certain areas of my life, I'm like, I don't think I had value for myself. I thought I was like, just, you know, a nice girl, a pretty girl, but like valuable. This is what I want. This is what I deserve. I don't think I had that. So I don't know. I just feel like value can be missed so often. You know what I mean? And I'm like, sometimes I'll hear girls, you know, who are 19, 20, and I hear them talking sometimes. I'm just like, dang. So what I normally say, if they're with a certain kind of guy and he's like not doing right, I'm like, she don't know her value yet. If he gets her now, she'll grow. She's gonna find out eventually. Yeah. But if she catches who she is, she can actually put him on his toes. And when I say that it's like once you have that aha moment, that calmness, that like assuredness, I love who I am. I like who I am. I know how I want to be treated. This is what I'm not willing to do anymore. Once you start voicing things like that, people will fall in line with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys will fall in line with that. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, oh, okay, this is what she's about. But when you're not, you get what you get.
Yeah.
I get what I get.
Yeah.
At whatever point in my life, like as a young girl, because value was a little bit not as full as it should have been. Yeah. So now I'm going like overtime with the girls because I'm like, well, you're valuable. Ever feel like it's over for you? Yeah. I've had some women, you know, and I've seen them like kind of like die in certain ways, like whether it be their spirit or physically, like from just being brokenhearted.
Yeah. Girl, I was brokenhearted like that. Like I was. So it was really funny because I remember this girl, I was sharing my story about, and she said, that's interesting. I didn't think pretty girls had problems like that. And she was dead serious.
You think she was serious?
No, she was dead serious.
She's trying to be condescending, maybe.
Right.
Like,
I don't know well, I didn't catch it.
Right? No, you're right. I ain't catch that either. Girl, what?
Because I don't know if she even knew what condescending meant, but I'm just saying, she was literally like stunned. And I thought to myself, what a misconception of how you view people, first of all. Because, again, like, what does looks have to do with anything?
No, life experience.
Right. Yeah.
We all are beautiful women, but I feel like all women, no matter what you look like, where you come from, we go through the same things.
Yeah.
And I guess that was part of the reason why I really wanted to just like facilitate more discussions like this, because I felt like, why do women have to show up super made up, best spank song, gotta get your body done, you know, to compete? You know, ain't nothing wrong with it, to keep up. You know what I'm saying? I want you to look good now, girl. Come right, because I'm gonna come right. You know, I do want you to come right. I'm just saying, as far as why do we have to be so put together, and then when we walk in the room, it's like, oh, look at her. Let me size myself up. Let me check. No, like, I want us to be able to walk in the room and be like, dang, girl, I saw you walk in. You know what I mean? I was literally just talking to Ari about that. I'm like, can we, like, do something different? And I just cannot do the, who does she think she is? She thinks she's exactly who God called her to be. Okay, like who are you? We should be asking, who are you?
Or like, you can't handle someone else's confidence, and you can't handle someone else's shine.
Literally,
that's what I just.
Art literally just said that. What did you say? What was your point?
I said that sometimes some women, they can't allow you to shine and still feel special. It's like, okay, I need to, you know, interfere with that a little bit and let you know I'm still great. Listen, I'm great too.
Yeah.
But you can allow her to shine and everybody can still see your light as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And I think girls need to
hear
that
more than
more.
one pretty girl in the room. Like there's never
and define pretty is. Depending on who you
ask.
ask.
Because it's only skin deep, to be honest.
It really is.
I know some beautiful women
who are
horrible personalities,
or
don't have a personality,
or don't, or just really mean, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is something to talk about, just because I just want to shatter glass ceilings by having discussions about things that are vulnerable, things that are hard. I'm tired of, the feedback about, Instagram, you make everything look good. So I thought this would be good. Like, let's talk about a few things and things that we're doing as women to be proactive in our journeys. I feel like we touched on a lot of good points. Do you feel like there's anything that I should have add, or anything else that I should discuss that was either on your heart this week, or anything that you just felt like, okay, I kind of got a revelation with this, and like a piece of wisdom you would share? Or
I've been thinking about a whole lot this week. This week has been the longest. It should be Saturday today.
It should be. It was a long week. It was. And a lot of emotions this week.
A lot.
I finally
I don't understand what it is. Something going on. But actually, no, I can't think of anything at this time. But
I think that's pretty much it. I feel like we got a few good points. I feel like we touched on motherhood. I feel like we touched on self-care. We touched on... What else we touched on, girl? I don't know.
Being a wife.
Being a wife.
Being a partner.
Being a partner.
That's a whole nother conversation, though.
That is a whole nother conversation.
A whole nother.
I heard Beyonce say you shouldn't be somebody's wife until you have your own life. I kind of agree with her now. I'm just saying, I don't mean it, but I didn't understand what she meant when she said it when I first heard it. Yeah. But then once you understood,
spend a lifetime trying to find yours.
Yeah.
Still trying to make sure that you're being in that life, the marriage life.
Yeah.
Something has to. You said earlier, dying to yourself.
Yeah.